2, 1, 0, and it is go live. Welcome everybody. I am Eric Eisenbud, the Grateful Chef. Welcome back to my kitchen for another awesome episode of Cooking in the Kitchen with the Grateful Chef, Eric Eisenbud. That is me. And we are doing another in our Spring Has Sprung series. And we're doing a little bit of a departure from our normal full-blown whole meal, you know, all the components of a whole meal. And I want to give a shout out to Dave La Guisera. Hi, Lynn.
Oops.
He had recommended last week that why don't I do an episode on fiddlehead ferns. And so, you know what? I took his recommendation and we're taking it one step further. We're going fiddlehead ferns and we are doing ramps. Now, there are a lot of folks out there that don't know what ramps are and or don't know what fiddlehead ferns are. So tonight we're doing a focus episode on these two ingredients, talking a little bit about what they are and talking about what we can do with them. There's about probably 1,000 things other than what I'm going to show you tonight that you can do with these. They're amazingly fresh in the moment. They have a very short growing season. And let's talk about what we're going to do. So yes, spring has certainly sprung here in New Jersey. It's awesome. We are doing ramps and fiddleheads. We're doing a ramp butter, which is great because you can do that and then you can have the ramp butter in your freezer for all year round. Really, it's really a great thing. We are doing a ramp aioli, which is sort of like a mayo, like a homemade mayo, but it's a little bit looser. We're doing that with ramps and a little cayenne pepper. Very awesome. We're doing a ramp escabeche. Escabeche typically is some sort of a pickled thing. If you remember the Spanish tapas that we did a mussels escabeche. You cook the mussels, you put it in like a vinegar and olive oil and stuff like that. So that's typically an escabeche. And we are going to do sauteed fiddleheads. And that is what we're doing tonight. Let me put the board away. We're going to get right to if this were a college, this part is the Gen Ed course, okay? So I have printed out some information about these two ingredients. First, let me tell you about ramps. Now, these things grow wild here in New Jersey. They grow in other parts of the country too, typically the higher elevations, northeast, and they are known as a wild leek. However, they are part of the onion family. So this is how they come. There's one or two leaves, broad, beautiful green leaves. So you see this one has two. It's got a kind of purplish stem and then a bulb at the end, very similar to a scallion. And of course, it's got the roots still attached. And again, we can go into public areas here, like we have reservations, you know, they're basically parks. And these things grow everywhere. And you gotta like fight people for them almost because everybody wants them. But an interesting thing, I've realized, you know, not a lot of people know about these two ingredients. And here's my case in point. I went to my local Whole Foods. And because I know this time of year, they're gonna have this, maybe for about 2 weeks. They're gonna have fiddleheads and they're gonna have ramps. So I saw the fiddleheads and I grabbed myself a nice bunch of fiddleheads, put them in a bag. And then I went to the produce guy and I said, hey, are you guys out of the ramps? Because that would be typical, because everyone flocks in for them. He said to me something that's pretty disturbing for a chef, especially this Grateful Chef. He said, nah, we don't even put them out because nobody around here buys them. And I happened to have my shirt on that said chef. And I said, that's because nobody knows what they are. And he says, well, of course you're a chef, you do. So he went in the back, bought this giant 5-pound bag out for me. I had my pick of the litter and went back a day or two later, still had them, you know. So that was very disturbing. So here I am to educate the people about what these two amazing ingredients and short-lived ingredients are all about. Lynn, what do we have?
We've got Swapna with us. She said hello, Eric.
Hey, Swapna, welcome back from India.
Yes, we've got Joe from Southern Coast cooking.
My brother.
Yeah, great ingredients. And Eric. Hey, Eric. I'm stumbling tonight.
Okay.
Jay Judge, hey, I made it.
What's
and-
up, Jay? Thanks for coming in, my man.
And he wants you to
Great
send
seeing you last weekend. And he wants me to what?
Send him some Fiddleheads.
Oh, send him from Fiddleheads.
And
And
Joe said he's never had Fiddleheads. What would you compare them to?
they are asparagus-like in flavor, maybe a little bit sweeter, but they have that same mouthfeel, kind of when you cook them crisp, tender. I'm going to show you, so I did show you what the Fiddleheads look like. They look like, they call them Fiddleheads because they resemble the end of a violin. You know, it's got that curled part at the end, so it's a fiddlehead fern. Now these would unfurl to a full-size fern, at which point there is a fair amount of toxins in them, and you do not want to eat them. You never want to eat a fern that's been unfurled. And this is a specific fern. You can't eat every fern like this. This one, the stem, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but the stem is not a solid round. It is like a U-shaped channel. So that's what you kind of look for. And you want them in this stage, and they are harvested very close to the ground. So, and some of the stems are a little bit pink or purple a little bit, and there is a papery substance that's on these that you want to remove. And I'm going to read you from my notes. So they are found in much of the U.S. and Europe, Asia, and Canada. In fact, Tidehead in New Brunswick, which is in Canada, calls itself the fiddlehead capital of the world. And what we're looking for is, when you look for fiddleheads, small coils that are very tightly wound up, like these are. There should be a vibrant green, like these are. The skin should come off easily when rubbed, like these did. And you want to purchase or pick only the ostrich fern fiddlehead. And the reason why they're saying this is because they are the safest ones to consume. Doesn't mean you can't consume others, but these are the safest ones as far as any kind of foodborne illness. They are sweet like asparagus, a little bit grassy, and snappy like a green bean. Let's see if you can hear this. You know, so they're crisp in this state. They are rich in potassium, iron, antioxidants, and omega-3 fatty acids. These are considered a very healthy food to eat. So because the ostrich fern does have the trace amount of toxins, you should never eat them raw. So these aren't something you're going to cut up and put into a salad. You must cook them. What is recommended by the CDC, Center for Disease Control, is that these things get boiled or steamed for 10 to 15 minutes. And I'm going to reach back here to my bowl, and that's exactly what I did with the other ones. You can see that the color's a little bit different. But I put them, I boiled them for 10 minutes. They're still crisp tender, but now I know that they're safe to eat. So we're going to get to those. These we're just going to simply saute. It's pretty much what we're going to do with those. We're going to serve it with a ramp aioli, which is really cool. And let's get back to ramps now. So ramps, also their scientific name is the Allium trichosum, and the allium is part of the onion family. It's got the bulb we talked about, broad, smooth, light green leaves, and deep purple, love that band, or a burgundy stem, and a white part. So there's three actually parts. So I use the white part and some of the purple, and then in some of the recipes I actually separate the leaves because they cook at different times. It's a scallion-like stalk. Both the white lower leaf and the broad green are edible. They were first named the Allium trichosum in 1789 by a Scottish botanist. So they've been eating these for a very long time. They were introduced to Britain in 1770. You know, I guess they were preparing for our independence or something. 6 years later. They were pissed. Anyway, they are commonly known as ramps, spring onion, ramson, wild leeks, wood leeks, and wild garlic. North American species of wild onion. It's widespread across Canada, as I said. And they're downright delicious. So it's a kind of a mild onion flavor with a stronger garlic flavor. I love them.
And they smell awesome.
Very, very versatile. Filed those away into the circular file because we're now going to get ready. So the first thing that I want to talk about
is that Nino's watching.
Happy birthday! Happy birthday to the El Nino, E-H-L.
Wrong one. Nino.
Oh, Nino.
Nino.
Damn, I do that all the time.
Nino.
My cheesemonger. Hope you're doing well, my man. We have an empty cheese drill. We're going to come in and see you really soon. All right. So, I showed you what the trimmed ramps look like. So, I had to do the butter in advance. And it's very simple. I don't even have a written recipe for it. I used the advice of my friend, Chris Sikorsky, my best friend, who has done this year after year, and it's very simple to do. Basically what I did was I had cleaned the ramps, and I did what I had said earlier, so I separated the white part from the leaves. They're a little tough when they're raw, so separated the white part from the leaves, and I took all the white parts, cut them into small pieces, blitzed them in a food processor, took them out. Same thing, cut the leaves to smaller pieces, blitzed it in a food processor. I took 1.5 pounds of unsalted butter, and I put it in a pot, and I let it melt, very low heat, and then I added the white part first, let that cook just a little bit, and then I added the green part. And then very slowly on the lowest flame that you can get, you basically just want it, you don't want any color on them, you just want the butter to take on the ramp flavor. And then what I did was I chilled it down so it's a little bit, this was completely liquid. I sat this in a bowl of ice water, and every once in a while I went and stirred it, and it cooled it down very quickly. So what I'm going to do now is what you would do if you were making any kind of compound butter. Of course, a compound butter is butter with the added ingredients. You can do garlic, you can do herbs de Provence, you can do whatever flavor strikes your fancy. So once you have it and it is more firm and not in a liquid state, I'm just putting it down here on some saran wrap. And let's see if I didn't put too much on here. And basically what you want to do is you're going to roll it up into a log. I'm going to keep that and get it all out later. Okay.
Try and zoom in on this.
Yes, zoom on in. Come on in, the water's fine. So basically I'm going to roll the plastic wrap over, and I'm going to kind of pull back on it like that. Okay, making a log. I'm going to take this side and wrap it around, and I'm going to grab these ends, and I'm basically just going to roll and start gently at first. You want to pinch the ends because you don't want it to ooze out. So you're going to roll it nice, and then you're going to just hold on to the ends, and you can see what's happening is it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter. You can swing it around like this if you want, but be careful not to break it. And you can make it, narrower, thinner, whatever. Basically, this is what you want. Nice round cylinder. And now this is going to go into my freezer, and then I'm going to cut it as needed. And rewrap it. Once it's frozen, I may vacuum seal it. So this puppy's going in the freezer. And speaking of puppies, look who we have. This is our studio audience tonight. This is Muffy. We're dog seating. She's the cutest little thing. Hi, baby. Say hi. Okay, good. All right, that's her cameo. You're out of here. Wash my hands. All right.
Hey, pup.
Yeah, I'm not a dog guy. I never had a dog growing up, but Muffy's about as good as they get. She's special. Okay, so behind me, I think we're going to go to the stove now. Talk about these babies. All right. So I have my grill plates. nice and hot. And I am going to spray with a little avocado oil because we know avocado oil is a high temperature oil. So I just want to spray it. Now I've got my plate of ramps here, and this may be too many to do at once, so I'll just do one batch. And I basically want to spray the ramps as well. We're going to toss them around, make sure they're coated in the oil. I'm going to get a little salt on them so they don't come seasoned right from the ground.
We have a dog. We may not need to bag him.
Nice. So we're putting a little bit of salt on there. Beautiful. I'm going to toss them around. I'm treating these just like asparagus, which I have right next to me. And now I'm going to spread them out. And we're just trying to get a little bit of a char on them. That's pretty much it. I think I'm going to turn the heat up just a little bit, but we don't obviously want to burn these or anything else. We'll let Muffy get that. You got stuff in the way, honey?
A little bit.
I'm going to crank it for the benefit of this video. And we're going to keep our eye on it. Because again, we don't want it to burn. Just want to get them nice and charred. Let them cook a little bit. The greens obviously will wilt down very quickly. And the smell of the smell of garlic, it's intense right now.
I'm sorry, I missed it earlier. Did you mention how short the season was?
These are in the market for about 2 weeks. You could, and you know, so there's a couple of factors. One, I don't believe that they're cultivated. You know, they're commercially cultivated. So everyone and their mother is out looking for these things now. So it's kind of like the rarity of the product that makes them, you know, people go nuts over them. It's their unique flavor. If you can find a place that these are growing wild, I mean, that's the best.
Foraging?
So, yep, just forage for them, and you'll be happy as a clam. Now, one thing you do need to know, it takes a few years for a ramp like the plant to regenerate. So what we are asked to do by the agriculture folks and the you know, the people that forage things is to never pick the whole plant. Always leave a few, because if you pick too many of them, then the plant will die. So we always want them to regenerate next year. So we do responsible, sustainable harvesting, and yeah, they're very perishable. So you don't want to come home with a 10-pound bag and not have anything to do with them. So we always want to take that into consideration, that I'm not the only one out there looking for them, and kind of about doing the right thing for the right reason, you know. So take what you need, leave some for everybody else, that kind of thing.
I say, you're broadcasting to a lot of people, so you might run out in the market.
Yeah. So.
You should have kept a secret.
No.
A message from Joe. He said that he loves avocado oil, and he can't believe he went so long in life without knowing about it.
I agree. And the spray is great, Joe. I just discovered the spray last week. So you can see these cook up really quickly. And what's really cool too is it's flavoring my grill for other things. Nice. Turn that up just a little bit, because I am grateful, but I am also impatient. Yeah. So anyway, just shout out to everyone who's come back to see us again. People that are new, who's I know we got a bunch of join requests this week. So welcome to anyone who's new. Introduce yourself to the group. It's a great group of people who just love to cook and love food and are eager to learn, and I am eager to teach. So it's a match made in heaven.
We have James Brathek with us. And
Hey, James.
He said he learned about ramps at Blue Hill at Stone Barns.
Yes, South Mountain Reservation, South Orange. right near you. It's where they're growing. You could probably get them if there's any left. But that's where I was getting them when I lived in West Orange, buddy. All right. So these are cool. I'm going to take these off. You don't want to, kill them to death. They're also going into a vinegar-based soak, so that will also cook them. All right. So I'm going to.
What do you mean by vinegar is going to cook them?
Yeah. Well, vinegar will chemically cook just like lemon juice would. If you put shrimp in lemon juice, like a ceviche, it's a chemical reaction. It's the lemon juice actually cooks them. All right, so I turn that down. While I'm here at the stove, I'm going to put on my asparagus. That doesn't take long, and I love grilled asparagus. I mean, I can eat the asparagus raw every day of the week, but we just want to get them nice, crisp, tender. These, again, just like the ramps, I coated them in olive oil and a little bit of salt, and we're just going to let them get a nice char on them.
Did you olive oil or olive oil?
This one I used olive oil.
Okay.
The sweet of the asparagus goes well with the bitterness of the olive oil, so I always use olive oil on my asparagus. All right.
All right. So Joe was thinking that if Whole Foods carries them, somebody must be planting and growing them to sell.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe. There's a possibility.
He's gonna
But
check.
my guy said he gets the warehouse sends him his allotment, and he still doesn't put them out because nobody, he said, in our area buys them. Like, okay, I'll buy them. More for me. All right.
And Kevin said that he's going to go foraging tomorrow, and he also knows a place in State Forest that has morels. So.
Yes. So speaking of that, little known fact that I started to Uber, be a driver just for fun and to kill some time. And I've been meeting some very interesting people. And one of my rides is we're going to go forage for morels in Pennsylvania. So that's pretty cool. So I'm excited for that. All right, these are cooking very quickly. And I am also, because Lynn and I do have to eat, I didn't want the protein or anything to be like a, like the main focus of this show. So I'm just putting on some nice chicken pineapple bacon sausage that we bought at Costco that we tried. Adele's really good, so we figured we'd buy some. So that's going on. We'll let that go, nice low fire. All right.
I love sampling at Costco.
Yeah. Real nice people too. All right. So there we got the asparagus. We'll let that go for another minute or two. And so let's go back to the cutting board. And we're going to make the escabeche. So I'm going to do it in the pot. So what we have here is 3/4 of a cup of rice vinegar. That's going in. We have 1/4 of a cup of honey. So there's your sweet and sour kind of thing. That's going in the pot. Like so. We have 1/2 cup of olive oil. That's going in. And I'm adding this. These are a Thai ingredient. You know how much I love Thai. These are actually pickled green peppercorns. Really cool. I'm going to zoom in a little bit on that. It's a really interesting looking thing. So these are pickled green peppercorns on the vine. I love them. I figure they'll go great in here. I'm going to put 2 of them in there because it did call for black pepper. But hey, I changed it up because you know what? My kitchen, my rules. So this is going on the stove. We're going to just bring it to a simmer and then we're going to reduce it down. All right.
Am I coming back?
No, I'm going to take the asparagus off. Don't think you have to really focus on that. I'll take it off, put it on our platter.
So a couple things. You've got
Carol Eisenbutter this evening.
Hello, Mother.
And she said that the asparagus at this time of year is really sweet. And
Yes.
Dad made it last night.
Fantastic. That's
And,
cool.
Also, Anthony Lapinto just noticed your pot. He said, "Nice pot, chef."
Which pot?
I'm pretty sure the
The copper?
Yeah.
Yes, love copper. Don't love the maintenance, but love copper. Okay, so while I am waiting for the escabeche soak to happen, I'm going to just give it a quick stir. Of course, we're going to crank the heat just for the sake of the video, so I don't bore you guys to death. I have here a Weck jar. It's sort of like a ball jar, but I like them better. It's got a clamp system that clamps the top on really tight. It's got a rubber gasket. Okay, so I'm going to take our ramps that we grilled, and I'm just going to put them in. And you could fold them over, it doesn't matter. It's almost like a kimchi kind of thing. Okay, we're going to put them in. These smell absolutely amazing. Okay, and now these are going to await our brine, which is coming to a boil right now. The power of 26,000 BTUs at work. I'm going to rotate the sausage a little bit. These sausages are fully cooked, so I don't have to go too crazy.
Warming them up.
Just warming them up.
And Joe's jealous of the Mauvium copper pans.
I love them. You know, sometimes Home Goods, they have good deals on copper pots. So check them out.
Always look for the ones that are heavier, though.
Yeah. Some of them are super light. These are really good. And what I use to clean them is Barkeeper's Friend, right on the outside. Sparkling, sparkling. All right, so this is out of boil. We're gonna let this reduce just by a little bit. I wanna make sure that I have enough liquid. If I don't, I will add probably a little bit of water or maybe some more vinegar. But really wanna get that, the honey melted, incorporated. Do it maybe 2 minutes or so. It's really, really simple recipe. And really what we're doing, again, melting the honey and getting those flavors to meld.
Let me come over and take a look. Once you're done.
I'm going to bring it over to you.
Okay.
That's about it. Don't want it to go too far, because then I won't have enough. So here you go, nice and bubbly. A little bright, and into our ramps they go. Okay, just enough to cover. It's beautiful. All right, so I'm going to just make sure that they are fully submerged, just like that. I'm going to cover them, and then I'm just going to leave them out and let them chill, let them, come to room temperature, and they'll be ready to eat. You don't have to store them for a month. So here's that clip. Clips on, the lid is nice and tight. It should have at least one, maybe two more, but I lost them, so I need to buy them online. Okay, moving on. The next thing we are making is a quick aioli. Beautiful thing. I had made a batch earlier with a little, it called for half a teaspoon of cayenne. I'm going to put a little less in there because that's pretty aggressive. All right, so what we have is real simple. This is lemon juice, fresh squeezed lemon juice, 2 teaspoons. Lemon juice. This is 1 egg yolk. In it goes. A little bit of cayenne, so I did a half a teaspoon. I'm going to go for a quarter of a teaspoon now. Actually, I'm going to go for an eighth of a teaspoon.
I appreciate that.
For Lynn. Ding. Okay.
I'm the spice wimp in the house.
She is a spice wimp. So I am going to whisk together these ingredients. You know, I'm putting a towel down to help to stabilize the bowl. So I've got the egg yolk, I've got the cayenne, and I've got the lemon juice.
I'm gonna come over.
Okay, nicely incorporated. And now I'm going to drizzle. Remember we talked about last week the emulsification. It's exactly what we're doing. Just like making a vinaigrette, we want to emulsify, which is having the water-based and the oil-based mix, which is typically something that's not possible, but when you take your time and do an emulsification,
What you're saying is
it works.
don't pour the whole
No,
thing
I'm
in there.
letting it drizzle in. Once the emulsification takes, you can add a little bit more, but you got to go slow at the beginning so it doesn't separate. And this is we're basically making a mayonnaise.
Is there a way to do it without a whisk? A
Um,
little less
well, you can do it. You
human
can
power?
yeah, you can do it in a magic bullet, or you can certainly do it in a food processor if you have a small one that has one of those little pinholes that feed in the oil. I like those very much. All right, we're getting there.
Joe asked if he could do it in a KitchenAid blender.
You sure can, but the thing about doing it in a blender, you'll have to do a bigger batch. If you have too little in there, it won't, it's not gonna, it won't be enough for the blades to grab. So you can see already that that liquid is getting nice and thick. We're almost there. Okay. And again, now at this point you can add a little bit faster. Takes a little practice doing it like this, but if I had used a bigger bowl, it might have been a little bit easier, but I didn't. And there we go. So we got a nice aioli. It's like a loose mayonnaise, making sure it's incorporated nicely. I hear sizzling going on back there, so I'm going to go check. That is our sausage. Beautiful. Gorgeous. Again, just warming those up so we have something to eat. All right. Now, at this point, we are going to add some ramps. So I'm going to take these ramps that we have right here, and I'm going to trim them up real quick, and I'm going to mince and add. So again, we want to cut off. Let's see if we can get you a nice view of this. We're going to cut off the roots. Take this one, 5-second rule. My kitchen, my rules.
I see Kira peeking in.
Hi, Kira. We are cutting off the roots
Of your ramps.
of the ramps. I'm going to do what I told you before. I'm going to separate the leaves from the white parts. Like so. Get these over here. Line these up. And we're going to mince. And mince is as fine as you can. I'm slicing them a little bit, and then I'll run my knife through them, get them nice and fine.
And while you're doing that, Joe had a question.
Yes.
Do you need to chill the bowl beforehand?
For the aioli, no, you don't.
Would it work any better?
No, it seemed to work okay. I mean, it's, I don't know that it would. I guess we'll have to experiment with that, but I don't see a reason. If we have any chefs on there, Mr. Lapinto, if you have an opinion on that, if using a chilled bowl to make an aioli is better.
Let's see if. Oh man, he's still with us.
All right, so we've got our white parts. And again, run my knife through them, just like I would mince garlic. And nice and fine. All right, that's simple. Scooping it up. That's going into our bowl. In fact, you know what? I think I'm just going to use the white parts for this. Green parts will save for something else. So here we have the aioli with the, you can see, where are you? Over here. See the ramps in there. We're just going to give it a little whisk. And we are ready. So what am I going to do with this? What am I going to do with a nice aioli? All right, a couple things. Nice.
Joe asked it, so the end is like garlic?
The end is like garlic, a little bit like it's a strong garlic. Okay.
With some onion.
Yeah. Well, the leaves are much more mild. The whole thing is like a mild onion meets a stronger garlic. All right. First, I want to taste my aioli. I know it's going to need salt
How do you know it's going to need salt?
because that's my experience.
Yeah.
Look at that, how beautiful. All right. So, we're going to put this over our grilled asparagus. And the flavors will just complement each other. That sweet asparagus, the spicy garlic, or the leek, I should say. All right, and there's our first dish. So we have a grilled asparagus with a ramp aioli.
That looks awesome.
Looks delicious. Let's try it. Pardon my fingers. Perfect. You could just have the aioli in a bowl and quickly blanch the asparagus and just dip the asparagus right in the aioli. It's a little bit bitter, goes with the grape sweet. You get that onion garlic flavor, really delicious. Okay.
Joe needs some ramps in his life.
What else are we going to do with aioli? Here we go.
Done.
Gonna get fancy on you. Put it on a plate. And here, I simply steamed this beautiful artichoke from the fresh market. I'm gonna pat it dry a little bit. That's gonna sit in our aioli. And, if that weren't enough, we're gonna put a little aioli on top and in the bottom. And maybe a little bit more on the plate. And what do we do with this? I love artichokes. This year, they're the best artichokes I have seen in a long time. So if you're not familiar with how to eat them, obviously you want to pull the leaf. And this is a chilled artichoke. I cooked it, I chilled it, and basically you're going to dip it in the aioli, and you pull it between your teeth to remove the meat from the leaf. Again, the complementing flavor of the artichoke and this aioli, killer!
Yeah.
Dish number 2, it's a cold steamed
Snack.
artichoke.
It's a snack.
It's a snack.
Joe's thinking that you could take, the ramps could take a hollandaise sauce up to the next level.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. You could actually grill the ramps and serve it with hollandaise sauce on top of them. Great. Third, last but not least, who doesn't love a little avocado? I love avocado. So this is another thing that you can do with this awesome aioli. This is a beautifully ripe avocado. Okay?
Did you get it at the Mexican market?
No, this I actually got at, may I have a plate please? The fresh market. Now what I would do is fill that little whole cavity over here with the aioli. Right? Maybe I, not Lynn, but I would put a little cayenne on there to get a little flavor. on there and eat it right out of the shell. So you get a little avocado, you're going to get that aioli. Let's see how these go.
And Joe said keto goodness.
Needs a little salt.
Did you hear me?
Yes.
All right. It's all about keto.
Yeah, so what's cool is that you get a fair amount of bitter from the ramp. So when you serve it with something that's naturally sweet, like the asparagus, like the artichoke, sweet, and like this avocado, this is great. And I'm keto and I don't even know it. The best part. Great. So number 3, avocado with aioli. Quick lunch. You could put crab meat in there. That would be to die for. All right. We're in the home stretch. What our ramp's doing over here. Pickling away. Last but not least, let's go back to the stove. And let me get a dinner plate. How does the sausage look?
Delicious. Grilled. It smells good in here.
All right. Breaking out the carbon steel. Primarily because it doesn't make everything go all wonky like the white or the stainless steel as far as the filming goes. So these sausages are done. I'm going to get some heat on this pan. And before I rolled that ramp butter, I took some out. So we can cook our fiddleheads. This is going to be good. So again, follow the FDA recommendation, excuse me, and I boiled these for 10 minutes. They still have a little crunch to them. And now we're going to flavor them a little bit with the ramp butter, a little bit of salt, let's see, oh yeah, look at that. See, now this is what you're going to get in the middle of the winter when you go and cut a hunk off of that butter that we put in the freezer. It's going to melt just like this. It's got a beautiful ramp flavor. I really just want to cook these very quickly. In they go. So fiddleheads you really don't want to mess with too much. You just want to be able to taste them. I'm going to toss these in the ramp butter. Gorgeous. And of course, a little bit of salt.
Now, as you're cooking that up, what kind of sausages are those?
These are Adele's. You got them at
Costco.
Costco. They're Adele's, and they are the chicken. I think it's a smoked chicken pineapple bacon sausage. Pretty awesome. Go with a little bit of black pepper because just like on peas or asparagus, black pepper just goes so well with it. There we go. That's
And if I did that, we would have fiddleheads everywhere.
So of course, since these are already cooked, I'm just warming them through. That's all I want to do. Beauteous. Little plate. Shut off our grill. All right. I'm going to plate it right from here. Look how beautiful these look.
Is there asparagus kind of tasting?
Yeah, a little bit of asparagus taste. All right. Fiddleheads. Super healthy for you. This whole meal. Super healthy. Keto.
Joe, are you doing keto?
If Joe is talking about keto, you know it's got to be good. All right, we're going to put on a little bit of our chicken sausage. Get that one. Yep, go with this. Let's go over to the cutting board. Fantastic, how beautiful. If you want, you could put a little tiny bit more of the butter. Fantastic. And, of course, I got a taste. All right, so here we go. Fiddlehead ferns. We have it here with the chicken sausage. You can have it next to a steak. You can have it next to a piece of fish. They're nice and mild and tender. There's like nothing like it. They're beautiful. Fantastic. I'm going to taste the sausage. And then Lynn and I are going to go have our healthy dinner.
Well, let me just point out that Joe went keto. He still eats barbecue rubs, sauces in moderation, but he's down 43 pounds. Way to go, Joe.
All right. It's a beautiful thing. All right. Can you get like this whole bounty in here? So now we know that ramps aren't just an occasional thing you use to get down from the second floor to the first, like the stairs. And fiddleheads really have very little to do with the musical instrument except that it resembles the end of a violin. But what we do know is also that these are absolutely beautiful. They're delicious. They're healthy. They're available for a very short time, maybe 2 weeks. Maybe the fiddleheads are commercially cultivated. I know the ramps are not. So if you see them or go to your Whole Foods, I'm sure that they can get them from their warehousing, and you will love these things. There's a million things you can do. Google it. And so I'm going to close, as always, expressing my unending gratitude for you guys for coming and watching the show every week, for watching it, if you can't see it live, for watching it in the days afterwards, for sharing our stuff with your friends, our Facebook group, Grateful Chef with Eric Eisenbud, my YouTube channel, The Grateful Chef EE, my Instagram account, Grateful Chef, and our website is Eating with Chef Eric, and it is fantastic. And share that with your friends as well. A little programming note, as most of you know, we will not be doing this live here. I will be with Andrew Billings and the Boars Night Out competition, award-winning competition barbecue team at the Memphis in May competition. I'm super excited about it. I don't know how the Mevo camera is going to work without Wi-Fi down there. I'm going to try it. I'm going to do my best. If I have to do it from my iPad, I'll do it from there. If I have to just do video and show you afterwards, I will do that as well. I'm going to eat my weight and Joe's old weight in barbecue. So I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, don't hesitate to reach out. And we will see you guys next time, hopefully next week, but certainly the week after. Love you. Thanks for being who you are. Eat well, be kind, and be grateful. See you next time. Peace.